What up? What up? What
Yo.
up? What's going on? It's the Man
The Man.
Sports Podcast, and we back at you for episode what? 6 now?
Yeah, this episode 6, man.
Man,
Hey, we starting to give a little, you know what I mean?
a little momentum in this thing, ain't
we
we?
starting to get vetted, ain't we?
Yes, sir.
Past 5, you know what I mean? Hey, we make it look like we know what we're doing.
That's
don't
right.
it?
That's right. That's right.
Hey, man.
What's going on?
How your week been?
Brother, I tell you, man, it's been exhausting. You know how it is working, man, and trying to have a life with your family, a life at work, and life to do what you want to do, and you know what I'm saying? But I'm making it. What about you?
Hey, man, you know, it's a lot going on in my neighborhood, but you know what I mean? hey, we make it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and why I say that, you know, with the sports scene and where it's headed, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on. Did you catch that LSU and South Carolina game?
You know what? With all the excitement, I missed it. I really missed because guess what I had to do?
What?
I had to work.
What?
I had to work, so I missed it.
Hey, I feel you on that. Well, it wasn't too much to miss, man. South Carolina went ahead and handled that.
I seen they blow them out.
Yeah, it wasn't too much to miss, man. I thought LSU was going to do a lot more because, you know, they were talking cash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Real cash on social media. But they weren't able to do nothing. But I will give a shout out to my homeboy, Ice. He worked at Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
University of Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
And he was at the game. Tennessee did it again.
I seen.
They beat Alabama.
Alabama, absolutely.
Yeah, so.
You know what I'm enjoying about these college sports right now?
What?
That your typical number ones are not number one right now. You know what I'm saying? Like
true.
there's other teams recruiting great players to play at their schools, and they're doing great things there. It's just beautiful to see. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dawn Staley, by the way. You know, she's loved her ever since she was when she was in the Olympic team back years ago. I always loved Dawn Staley. She can ball. But yeah, you're right. That to see the landscape of college football, college basketball, the landscape is different now. So it's not like your North Carolina Dukes. Even though I'm a big North Carolina man, I still like the competition is different now.
Well, you know, one thing I will say right now that the competition on almost every level of sports, and it's been a long time since you can actually say this, but it's a lot of equal playing field. It ain't, you know, we used to, like back in the day, I know we talk about NBA a lot, but you know, you used to have the super teams, and until now, you know what I'm saying, everybody was pretty much equal. You never had like a far favorite, like when LeBron went to the Miami Heat, or when KD went to the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like a lot of just NFL, NBA. You know, it's a lot of evenness. It's equal play. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Anybody can win in college. You know what I'm saying? NCAA, anybody can win at this moment.
Right.
Just how Alabama was on top. You know what I mean? Like
now Georgia.
Georgia's on top, but still, you know, Georgia. You know, they have their times too. But we'll say that for
we
another
know that
day.
In times past.
Yeah. We'll say that for another day.
They had a promising season every year, then they end up losing big time.
Yeah. So that's one thing I can say. Just watching sports now is more what I would say entertainment wise. You don't know, kind of, you're on your edge of your seat. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So, but with that being said, you know what I mean. I would like to make this announcement. Going forward. Okay. You know, I feel like this Super Bowl thing
oh my.
It just got me thrown. So I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
Because we're gonna go right into it.
Okay.
Do you think that call that was made at the end of the game, the Super Bowl, do you think that was the right call?
Man, I've been going back and forth with this, man. It's just, and I watched it even before we came on tonight to do our podcast, man. I was just thinking. I've watched that play several times, man, and I think
just breathe a little bit harder.
Technically, it was pass interference, but I don't think it was warranted to call during that time. You know what I mean? It was just because, in my opinion, there were so many other plays that were questionable pass interference that they didn't call, and that's not just during the Super Bowl, but that's throughout the whole entire season. I think there was a lot more hand checking and other stuff that they let go, and it wasn't pass interference. But that kind of and that's time and that the timing of it, the way it looked, because the way that it was interpreted, it was like it impeded. And I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think it impeded him that much.
Now, this is gonna be a question inside a question.
Okay.
All right. Where was he when everything was happening?
Who's it?
Like Juju.
Oh,
Where-
within the 5? You talking about the 5?
So where was so when you look at in the NFL, right? And this is my take on it, and I'll let you finish finish your segment. But it's a lot of hand checking. It's a lot of aggressiveness in those 5 yards.
Right.
From receivers to DBs. Receivers doing some stuff. DBs doing some stuff. Receivers trying to get extension. You know what I mean? So
Right.
they using their forearms. You know what I mean? They trying to pry themselves away from the DB. The DB trying to make sure they feel them and push them to a certain way. Right. So within that, I feel like if it was a warranted call, yes. But from the angle that I first seen, I was like, oh, most definitely shouldn't have called it.
Yeah.
Now, from the back end angle, you know what I mean? Now that, that's a little iffy, but it wasn't enough that I see that, that at that moment, I don't think that warrants, because that's a game time decision.
Well, that's the thing that I think a lot of people were upset about is because of the timing of it. It was like what 2 minutes, a little bit over 2 minutes left in the game, and they gave the Chiefs another set of downs to go for a touchdown or whatnot. And I just think at that critical time, you kind of at that time, if it's not that big of a deal as far as a call, I think you kind of let that go and let the players decide on the field. And because of the simple fact, there's a lot of calls that could have went that they didn't call, and vice versa. There's calls that they probably should have never made. However, the Philadelphia Eagles will say, yeah, it was the call. They made the call, but they will also say that there was other plays that led up to that, like the 65-yard punt return. That was a big part of that too. Because had they not gotten it, maybe the Eagles probably would have got a defensive play to stop that momentum. Yeah. But that 60-yard punt return. That was a big part of that too. But according to the referee, he gave a statement of what he thought might happen, and he said, "This is referee Carl Schaefer's." He said the receiver went inside and then attempting to release on the outside. He said the defender grabbed his jersey with his right hand and restricted him. And I don't think he necessarily restricted. I think it was a quick tug of the jersey.
I think it's more of if you ever see a DB, right? They practice this all the time, so it's more of a feel. You know what I mean? Yeah, he came out and said it. The DB did come out and say that I held him. I was trying to get him. But at the same time, it's more of a feel. So he's opening up where the wide receiver direction is going. He's more feeling him, right? But I don't think, to be honest, he should never pulled his jersey. Yeah. Because I don't think Juju is that caliber player. Yeah. To make a, whatever. Because he still was in front of him. He still overthrew him.
Well, see, that's another point.
Because the ball wasn't catchable.
Yeah, that's another point. I just think the way the ball was thrown and how far it was out, it didn't necessarily impede him from catching it. Because even if he didn't pull on the jersey or even held him at that little handshake on the backside, I really don't think that would have stopped them from catching the ball anyway. You know what I mean? I don't think it, because the ball was way overthrown in my opinion. Yeah. And I think the timing of the call, and as much that goes on throughout the game that could have been called that they never did call, that kind of ticky-tack, touchy-feely thing, I think that was
the ref. I get it. People, everybody had their opinion, but I feel like at the end of the game with 2 minutes. You know what I mean, to go. I feel like unless it's blatant,
I agree.
Like you don't need to call that.
I agree.
You need to let them figure, because they gonna tussle. It's gonna be here, there, whatever. But if you calling every ticky thing, then like literally as we looking at it on the screen right now, like then it was gonna be a lot of flags.
Well, that's another thing too. But how do you be consistently in those calls? Like what makes you call it in the last 2.5 minutes of a game versus the first quarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what constitutes pass interference for you to call it versus when you don't call it. You know what I mean? So it's just
My thing is, if it's blatant, like he's like, you know what I mean,
mm-hmm.
2 hands holding whatever,
Mm-hmm.
he come up whatever. Okay, all right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more of a, you know, I know the referee tries to go by the book,
Mm-hmm.
but right now you are controlling the actual play.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, and now it's like you're playing a mental game with players and referees.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So at that moment, you can't really you can't call that. You know what I'm saying? Like at this moment, I thought that's what they was looking at as in
Mm-hmm.
like what they was calling, but it actually was the other side.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and I was like, oh no, you can't. You most definitely can't call that.
Yeah, I mean, it was so brief and quick. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
like he held it. Like he grabbed it,
Mhm.
but grab and held onto are two different things.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like if he grabbed it and let go, but if he grabbed it and held onto it while he was still running, I can understand that. But if he grabbed it and let go, that's not enough to stop somebody's momentum when they're trying to get to a spot.
And you know what's crazy? Wide receivers do it too.
Absolutely.
Like they grab because they trying to get up off them, so they'll use whatever their inside hand is. They're going to the outside, and that's how they like create separation.
Right. Right.
And that's like, okay, well he can't block it, he can't. You know what I mean? So I'm keeping them down, and I still keep my left hand open.
Right.
Or the DB a hook. You know what I'm saying? The inside arm, but that none of that happened. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I felt like, you know, I was rooting for the Eagles.
I was rooting for the Eagles too.
I you know, granted, Mahomes was very gutsy. Now, I give him the utmost respect. You know what I'm saying? Like
MVP.
Yeah, like he did what he needed to do to win the game. But I felt like the game overall with the game, besides that controversial call, I felt like the Eagles never took over the game.
Yeah.
I felt like even when they was up 24-14, I felt like they still never had the grasp of the game.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy 24-14.
How it felt to me was you supposed to be up, but I think you're supposed to be dominating. You know what I'm saying? So because they had the fumble in the first half, so like I just feel like it's just overall that was the Eagles' win, and they pretty much let the Chiefs hang around, and pretty much that's how the Chiefs won the game.
Well, I agree with you. I think overall, I mean, it's probably one of the better Super Bowls we've watched in a long time.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Now that field was terrible.
Yeah, field was terrible.
Hey, you know what's crazy though?
What's that?
You know where that field had what's the right word? Where they started the field at? 'Cause, you know they grow that field. You know,
Yeah.
etc. Go through all the natural stuff, whatever, and then roll it out. Right? Tifton. It's like maybe, you know, not too far from us. So, you know, so they actually started it. I think that the name of it is like Tiff something.
Oh,
They got
really?
that in the first name of it. But yeah, they look bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of sleeping on that field that
the
night
field,
too.
the field was like ice. That's
Yeah.
something that I didn't like, and that's one reason why I like turf, because you don't have to worry about that aspect of the dirt coming up, the
Yeah.
digging, and
Yeah.
etc. Like, you know, now turf, you know, you get the turf toe, you know, burns,
Yeah.
stuff like that. You know, you get the rubber coming up, all that good stuff, but you don't have to really worry about it moving too much.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like it's gonna pretty much be standard. That's gonna be where it's gonna be. But
Right.
yeah, that's the only thing I didn't like.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty out there, man. I didn't know, and it just seems like with being at the Super Bowl is such a spectacle, that would be something that you make sure that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As big as the spectacle because that a slip of a one slip to the wrong way, somebody's career is gone because the knee's busted out. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Most definitely.
I just don't understand why the NFL doesn't do their checks and balances to make sure something like the field is in proper condition.
I mean, you might as well say almost $1 billion event.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like that's so why you can't make sure the field is in proper shape?
right.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
agree with that.
Like it need to be somebody out there like putting dirt in the ground just like they do turf.
Yeah.
Somebody out there that needs to be able to maintain it, and if it's somebody that's supposed to maintain it, well, they did a poor job. You know what I mean? So that was one thing that I didn't didn't agree with. But it was one of the better Super Bowls. I
it was.
I really liked it. Now going forward, do you think Mahomes will be that guy, or you think Justin Fields gonna be more of that guy?
I don't know, man, because there was some reports that they're talking about trading
Yeah.
Justin Fields, but I don't know. I don't know if they should, man. I mean, because I always hate this. I always hate when a franchise bring in a franchise type player and they put him in positions because of his ability, but don't do anything to surround him so he can perform to his maximum. And then now, even though Justin Fields can ball and we know what he can do with the arm, we know what he can do on his feet, but what has Chicago done to help him?
Philadelphia.
Justin Fields, right?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Oh, Jalen Hurts. Well, Jalen Hurts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, excuse me. We're talking about Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts, I'm talking about.
But Jalen Hurts, I think he is. I think he's the future, man. I think he's not just because of his play, but that man is so mature, man. It's like the way he speaks, the way he handles himself, the way he carries himself. I just think he is the prototypical athlete / celebrity that you want to see in somebody. And I think as his leadership on the field, his athletic play, I think Philadelphia has something there. And I think as long as they keep their core, being Jalen Hurts and that young receiver that they got, number 6, I can't remember his name. I think if they keep their core pieces, I think they can be pretty good.
Now if they keep Devontae and AJ Brown, I think they'll be all right. But this was his time. He should have. I mean, granted, he played a heck of a game, but I'm gonna have to disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think Mahomes limped in and stole a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So I do feel he stole a Super Bowl there, and I feel like Jalen Hurts, he gonna be good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I respect him. You know what I mean? He came out and did what he did.
Yeah.
But this was his time. He had to win. And he didn't win. And I commend him because we're talking about a guy that got took out of the national championship. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, with Alabama.
Yeah.
So he had to overcome all that just to come back and go to the Super Bowl.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So I commend him. He's got grit, right?
Yeah,
He's
right.
got a lot of grit.
Right.
But I feel like this was his time to show. He didn't capitalize on it. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of factors that went into that, but
Yeah.
you know, a win is a win, right?
Well, you have a point you have a point to where, yes, that's because you may not make it back to the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Mahomes, I mean, he's right now. You know, I put Mahomes like as in like. I mean, who you think? So who the top quarterbacks in the league right now, right?
Yeah.
So you know Tom Brady before he retired,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
You got Joey Ice Burrow. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Joe-
You know?
Joe Cool.
And then you know.
What about Josh Allen in Buffalo?
Man, Buffalo as an organization, right? And I'm just going to say this: they can't get right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just whatever. From them going to all them Super Bowls in a row and losing all of them.
Well, I used to love him back then.
You know,
boy. I used to love him back then.
They just can't get right. And at the same time, you know, I preface this by saying that I did want Buffalo to be in
Me
the
too.
Super Bowl.
Me
I
too.
was rooting for them,
Me
but they
too.
just can't get it right. I don't know what it is when they get to like that semifinal quarter, whatever it is. They just
Well,
you know
since,
what I mean? Like
since
that's
we're on
pretty much it.
quarterbacks a little bit, what you think about Lamar Jackson then?
Oh, Lamar, my boy now. You know what I'm
okay.
saying? I ain't bring him up because of contract situations right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't play, you know, I know he's trying to get his money, so I'm going to stay quiet on him. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's my boy. You know what I'm saying? That's Florida all day. You know what I mean?
I got you.
But,
I got you.
you know, I feel like this. Pay the man.
I agree.
Baltimore need to pay the man.
I
They
agree.
pay the man, you know what I'm saying, then everything else just fall into place. But pay the man. If you can't get his number, get close to his number.
Get close to it.
Now, allegedly, they are over $75 million in separation, as in talks. That's the
Woo,
difference.
Lord, that much?
Yeah, I mean,
Good
people.
gracious alive.
I just say 75. They say 100, but I was thinking it's more.
Still,
Like
that's a lot of money.
75, $100 million. Right?
He's trying to be the top quarterback player.
I mean,
of
but
all
when you
time.
look at what he do for that offense, when it was out, and this is one thing that I hate it,
Mm-hmm.
but as in a business portion of the game,
Mm-hmm.
like when you go out and your team fail to succeed, that means that you are that much valuable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that what happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they team couldn't do nothing while he was gone. And people always talking about something where he run the ball, just out of play, blase.
But
I
y'all
don't give
depend
a-
on him though.
Ex-
You
he
know,
is the offense.
this is my only gripe about what you're saying. I agree because they need to pay him.
Yeah, most definitely need to pay
They
him.
need to pay him, make him a franchise quarterback.
No. They need to pay him and make him the corner. We ain't doing no franchise.
Well, I'm
tag.
just saying.
Yeah, nah.
Just make him the face of the franchise. What I
Yeah,
mean.
uh-huh.
My only problem is because the contract is going to be so high and so much more of it's guaranteed nowadays. What can they do to supplement the offense to make sure that they can be successful down the line, especially in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, make it to the Super
That's
Bowl?
why I brought up the point that get close to his number.
Mm-hmm.
If you $75 to $100 million apart, that means you're not even close to where he need to be. So if you can get close to his number, then he'll feel like, okay, all right, bam, whatever, because he already shut down the rumors of going to the Atlanta Falcons, which I don't think you need to do, because they'll give you your money, but you'll be out of the league by 2-3 years.
Atlanta, that's a totally different story.
Yeah. So I do
Stay
think,
where you at, Lamar.
I do think that they need to go ahead and give him his money. 'Cause, he is on, him and his mama is on agent and all that type of stuff. So they need to go ahead and give him his money and let him do what he do. But to get back to the point, like, I do think Mahomes now is going to be the face of the league. You know what I mean? This is his second championship, right?
Yeah, his second championship.
So I feel like now he going to have the keys to the car. At first, he was just the passenger. Now he going to have the keys to the car. 'Cause Tom Brady done retired. Aaron Rodgers going to be on Judge Mathis.
Yeah,
You
he's
know what I'm saying?
gonna be on the downside.
Yeah,
he still got a couple of good years in it, but he's starting to be on the downside.
And he got an attitude problem, so that ain't gonna fare too well in the public. You know what I mean? So I do feel like Mahomes gonna have the keys. Now, one person that would stop him is my boy all the way up there in Cincinnati.
Joe Cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
The cool Mo D that said,
look.
hey, every season we are expected to go deep in the playoffs. It's not just 1-2 season. He said, I'm like this. I'm really like this.
He is really like. I gotta give him his props, man. Joe Cool, he got that swag on him, man. It's just, watching the games over again and kind of looking at the playoffs over again. I do agree that their holdback is the offensive line. If they can answer that problem and maybe answer some of the questions on defense, I think the Bengals are going to be
I think defense was above average.
Yeah,
They just they like, and you are like this. They like the Grizzlies. They talk a lot of cash, and then when they come down to it, they can't really back it up.
Well, I just think that secondary gave up some big plays. You know what I'm saying?
And afterwards, the main one talking cash.
Yeah. So I think if they can answer the secondary issues and continue to improve the offensive line, the Bengals are going to be a contender in the near future.
Well, the Bengals going to be legit just because they got Joe. You know what I'm saying? That was like one of the key pieces they need. Now, you're right. They don't have to get the offensive line, but that's ain't nobody. Joe, when you get past game 5, it's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because they went on a 11-game winning streak or something like that.
Nah, I don't know, but we have to research that.
Yeah.
But, them boys, they getting that mentality of Super Bowl is over with. You know what I'm saying? Now they is gonna have to give them some help on the offensive line. Now, they will gonna have to do that. But those are my top quarterbacks going into next year. Like I said, Jalen Hurts. I don't know. My thing is this: Jalen Hurts, great player, respect him, but he's up and down. You know what I'm saying? I think he might be starting to get his groove, but we won't see to next year.
Yeah.
And then the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, bless their heart.
Oh my Lord! Look, I ain't gonna say too much about that team because that's my dad's team, and I don't want him to be mad at me in this podcast.
When he gonna be mad because they just disgust me. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all do all that. It's just like it's it's like a book, and you know the ending.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you already know the conclusion. You know they're doing well. You know, you're gonna have a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, don't even worry about commenting. 'Cause you know you can't. You know what I mean? So, my thing is this.
I'm just commentating, Dad.
Hey, but like they gonna do what they gonna do in the
Yeah,
season,
yeah.
and then when they get to the postseason,
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah. Speaking of that, since we on kind of the subject of quarterbacks,
Uh-huh.
and now we're talking about the Cowboys,
Uh-huh.
do you think Dak is that bad or is he that good?
I think he's average.
He's average.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he's average. I don't think he's bad, terrible, but I don't think he's that good either. I feel like when he get put in certain situations, you know what I'm saying, like. You don't know kind of how he gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, he gonna take over a game or whatever. I think when they one of their keys was when the second string running back went out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a lot of their offense. And I mean, what his name, Ezekiel Elliott, he wasn't really doing too much nothing but changing out visors every other game and helmets. So I mean, my thing is
Eating
this.
cereal.
Yeah. That's pretty much going and getting in. What had a little Army Salvation thing where they was hopping in. He should have been hopping in that in the playoffs. There, he should have been doing. But yeah, I just I don't know. It's something in the front office gonna have to happen. That's the only thing I can think of, because it seems like when you're around an organization and that is the routine.
Yeah.
Every year in and out.
Yeah.
Like, something has to change, and you're gonna have to make a big splash. We all know Jerry ain't giving up Dallas Cowboys, so it's gonna have to be something where they're gonna have to change the environment.
Well, they're one of the top tier, one of the most expensive franchises in sports history, like along with the Yankees. So I think the nostalgia of the Cowboys. I think people are playing, especially the front office, Jerry Jones. I think they're playing more to nostalgia and what they were there in their glory days, instead of just building a franchise that was known for winning. You know what I mean? And I think Dak is. I agree with you. I think he's average, but I don't think, because he has who was the receiver that they got rid of last year? I can't think of his name. I think he went to the Raiders, I think.
Nah, I know Devontae Adams went to the Raiders.
Yeah, but they had a receiver. Cooper. Was it Cooper? Amari Cooper.
Well, I know they had Cooper and they had Lamb.
Yeah, so Amari Cooper, I won't necessarily say he was the greatest receiver, but he did his thing. I think with Lamb, and I just think with those kind of players, those caliber type of players, I don't understand how you just cannot find a way to get those people the ball to make plays. You know what I'm saying? You're a multi-billion-dollar franchise, and you got money to spend on these players. But how come y'all cannot find ways to get players in there that's going to perform the way you need to perform? I just don't get it. You know what I mean? So I think the Cowboys, they're always going to be in the discussion, but until they have the consistency that everybody's looking for or they expect of the Cowboys, I don't see them being a contender in the near future.
Amari Cooper went to the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, he went to the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, okay.
But I don't. That whole environment is just, it disgusts me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see what LeBron said. I am not a fan of the Dallas Cowboys anymore. I now renounce my claim on the Dallas Cowboys. And I never was a Dallas Cowboys fan. Never really cared for them. I really liked their facilities, though. The facilities was nice, but it just was, it's just that team that, ain't going to do nothing.
I'm going to tell you why I didn't like the Cowboys.
Because they're bad news bears, huh?
No, they could be. You remember you mentioned the Super Bowl about the Buffalo Bills. I loved the Buffalo Bills back in the 90s, and they just destroyed my Bills. Oh, yeah, I couldn't stand it. I could not stand it, and they just killed my Bills, but that's my dad's team, so I'm sorry, Dad. I'm not talking about it no more. That's enough.
Hey, but I do feel that it needs a lot of correction there going forward. But to get back on our topic with the controversial call, do you think, just overall, referees in every sport, do you think there's going to be some type of uh, fine enhanced policy.
Ooh, I think there should be.
Uh huh.
I think there should be, but I don't know when or if they will do it. Because like I said, we have with the technology that we have, with all the eyes that we have, I think there should be a better way to make a call. I just don't understand how you can't. If you get all these replays and you're going back to look at it anyway, don't just look at the call that was made, but look at everything that led up to the call. You know what I mean? I just don't understand. My only gripe when it comes to referees across all boards is just the consistency of the calls.
Okay.
What do you like? For example, the controversial call in the Super Bowl. What determines for you to call that pass interference versus something that was more of a hands-on checking call that you didn't call earlier in the game? You see what I'm saying? So when the timing of the play, the call of the actual call, when do you make that consistent? Because if you didn't call it at the beginning, why call it now at the end?
Yeah. Now, my thing is this also. I got another question for you. Will you think would it be an equal playing field with players arguing calls, as in like getting fines because they talking to the referee like, why'd you make the call? Because I do think, and what I'm getting at is, I do think the players don't get any slack for arguing a right call.
Yeah.
And I do think the players and the fans, the players, they get, obviously, because they get paid millions, they get upheld to a different standard. But what about a fan saying abrupt things to a player and the player reacts and the player gets fined for it? Don't do nothing, you know what I mean, that is like violent wise, but just be like, just like the other night, Draymond Green was like, hey, enjoy the game. In nicest words I can put it. You know what I mean? Enjoy the game, just watch the game, blah, 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 blah.
Well, speaking specifically about Draymond Green, I was trying my best to avoid him because I know he might get a hold of this and want to be like, who's that little dude down there with that old weak ass podcast? You know what I'm saying? He might be that kind of dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, I hope you do say something and stitch it so we can get our ratings up. So come on at me, Draymond. Anyway, Draymond has that reputation. Not necessarily as a bad thing, because if it was a bad thing, Steve Kerr, who's probably one of the greatest coaches now, I think he would, say something to him about.
Yeah.
Because he allows it to go on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think Steve Kerr recognizes that, hey, that's how Draymond gets it going. That's how Draymond is. If I restrict that, then he won't be as effective. I need to let him get it out. I understand it from that standpoint. My problem with Draymond is sometimes you don't know when to turn it off. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need to turn it off at a critical moment, especially when your team is trying to make a comeback, or especially when your team is up and your other team is making a comeback. You'll get a technical foul or something like that, and then next thing you know, the momentum is changing. And I think you're fighting for a win at some point.
Yeah.
But this specifically to your point, though, I think the league does need to give the athletes a little bit more leeway. Only because at the end of the day, we're human first. At the end of the day, we still dealing with stuff at home. We're still dealing with family. We're still dealing with medical stuff. We're still dealing with bills. We're still dealing with all kinds of stuff that everybody deals with on their regular life, everyday life. So sometimes when you get to that court, that is your only outlet. But even though that's your outlet, you still have that stuff on your mind. So if somebody say something wrong to you, you might be lashing out. You know what I'm saying? So I think it needs to be a little bit of grace, but also at the same time, there needs to be a point to where fans respect the players, and also the players need to learn when to just let stuff go sometimes, because it takes both parties to be okay.
Yeah, and I think is this, we're gonna have situations where, it's gonna start to get real sticky between the fans and the players because they feel like they are, they can't say nothing. They're restricted. But hey, we'll get to that on our next segment. Hey, make sure y'all tune in, subscribe,
Like,
hey,
share.
hey, everything. Do everything.
Y'all know where we at, man.
Hey,
all social media.
all social media. Hey, make sure y'all check us out. We got some things coming up, and make sure y'all tune in for our audience. We're gonna be going live, so just make sure y'all tune in with us. We'll give y'all updates on that.
Absolutely.
We out.
Yeah.
Yo, it's the Man.
The Man.
Sports Podcast. Hey, you know how we do it. You know what I'm saying? We coming today with all the fun topics that we know regular news outlets don't want to probably bring up, but we gonna come with it. You know what I'm saying? How you feeling over there?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. How you feeling?
Hey, I'm feeling pretty good. You hold that mic tight enough, you know what I'm saying? Your volume might come down. But hey, we rolling tough. Hey, we rolling
this man
tough.
got
Hey,
no sense, boy.
we making it do what it do. I'm just saying.
This man ain't got no sense.
Hey, we gonna get right on into it, man. And this is something that I feel was kind of not really put on the forefront of the NBA and the trade deadlines, but what do you feel about these NBA trades, and which ones you think was a bust in the NBA trades before the trade deadline?
Oh, this one this year?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's a good question. I think some of the teams made some good deals. Like I say,
So who your teams that you think made some good deals outside of the Suns? Because we all know the Suns made some.
I think if, well, it's not necessarily a trade, but I think if the Clippers get Russ,
Okay.
or if Russ goes to Miami, I think I think that's gonna be a good move for Russ, and I think he can help either one of those teams.
So you really think that, Mr. Man?
Yeah, I think that's a good move for us.
You know what? I feel like Mr. Smith off the Matrix. So you really think that, Mr. Man? You really think that? Okay,
Neo.
My thing is this. I feel like he need to go to like the Seattle Sonics. If you get my drill, you know what I mean? Like, because I mean,
you don't want Russ to play no more, man.
Well, my thing is this: you gonna have to go to a team like the Rockies or something for him to really. I mean, yeah, he showed us that what he can do, but it's gonna be hard to get that first OKC team that he was together on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I mean, granted, he played better. You know what I'm saying? But that was more of a team atmosphere. But with him going to Miami, with him going to the Clippers, I don't think it's gonna work out. Even Paul George said if it makes sense. Now,
I mean, they did pretty good when they was at OKC together, though.
Hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. So, now what happened when they left OKC? Like, who left who? Think about it.
Paul George left. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So my point exactly, right? So my thing is, when the reporters asked him, he was like, "It must make sense." What other great player says that about a Hall of Fame player? Think about it. Like think about it. When LeBron was like, "Oh, with Kyrie Irving," he was like, "Duh." You know, exact words what he said, right? I know the Suns was like, "Oh, KD, oh, duh." You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the Clippers was like, "Oh, let us think about it. Let us see what's going on. What's the big difference in those two? All those three situations, two are the same and one is different. What is the difference between those?"
I mean, I understand what you're saying, though, man. I mean, of course, Russ is the issue, man.
That's all I'm saying.
But I'm just saying.
You saying like,
I'm just saying he can contribute, though, because he still got game. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily. I think Russ's biggest problem is his shooting. He cannot shoot to save his life.
Hey, he got game.
He got game.
In a 1v1. He got game all day. He
Yeah.
could be in an
In the
open
isolation?
gym. You know what I'm saying? hey, playing somebody. You know what I'm saying? And that's no disrespect. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He was the ultimate team player. He came off the bench. He showed that he wanted to be a team player. But
Yeah.
you in a shooters league right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But he
That
can't
ain't.
shoot though. Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. He's terrible as a shooter. He's a terrible shooter. But
I don't know. He's like LeBron.
Mhm.
You know, that's my favorite player. You didn't know. Watch the other episodes. But my thing is this. He's elevated his game and transformed his game like every 5 years, right? You know what I'm saying? So he's changed and elevated how he needs to play his style of ball, etc. Oh, Russell Westbrook has been the same. And everybody talking about he got the dog in him. He's a killer instinct. Da da da.
I
But
mean,
he's been the same consistently
But
from
I'm
the first
saying-
year he got in the league to now.
but he's a former MVP though, man.
And
And he averages triple double for 3 years straight.
what team he was on when he was MVP? Exactly. My point. My point is I don't even want to hear that.
I'm just saying.
So next thing you're gonna say is he got triple doubles. What team he was on with triple doubles? You know what I'm saying? Like the next you're gonna be like, oh, he's indestructible. And you might have me on that. He's indestructible, but for what?
But
You know
I'm
what I'm saying?
if he's able to, my point is, if he's able to do all those things, MVP, play good enough to be MVP, and play good enough to average triple doubles, he has capabilities that are still useful. That's what I'm saying. So I think he could, if they could find a way to
everybody got
utilize him. That's the problem. Nobody can utilize him the right way. He needs to be full control.
so.
He needs to be full control of the offense, and he's not. He wasn't that in LA.
I think. Nah, I was
'Cause
about-
if he-
I was about to say he could go somewhere, but he can't go there either.
Well, I mean, see, but I think in all honesty, in my opinion, Miami might be a better fit because of the situation with Kyle Lowry being out. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna need somebody else to kind of fill in that gap as far as the point guard.
He's a shooter though. Kyle Lowry's a shooter.
Yeah, but they still need
So
somebody.
you putting somebody who can't shoot to substitute somebody who did shoot.
Well, I'm
and
just
got hurt.
saying, but I'm talking about the kind of caliber player Russ can be without the shooting. He still can contribute to the Miami team. I mean, Eric Spoelstra is a smart player, smart coach. Excuse me. I think he's very capable of figuring out how to implement Russ into the offense. Because we know what Russ can bring when he's on.
I mean, I'm gonna say he's second team player, not first team.
So now he's worth just coming off the bench now.
Most definitely.
He's not a starter on nobody else's team.
Well, I mean, obviously, we got 32 teams in the league. Rockets, you can start for them, but they're not going to make the playoffs. So it's like, obviously, he can start for them. But I'm talking about on a genuine, good team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't see, I wouldn't even get him at the Knicks. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, the Knicks are balling, though.
Exactly my point.
The Knicks are balling, though.
You know what I'm saying? So, I just can't, and I don't mean to derail you from the rest of your answer from the question I asked, but I can't see it.
Yeah.
When he came to the Lakers already knew. Straight trash.
Well, I ain't gonna say trash.
Well, I'm saying as in the whole system. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I just had a revelation.
Hold
I just
on.
had a revelation.
Hold on till you see later.
Hey, I just had a revelation.
Let's see what's gonna say.
Did you watch the game last night with the Lakers?
No, I didn't. I fell asleep.
It was like Mozart. It was like I was like, what have they been waiting on? You could have been traded this man. What have y'all been waiting on? Literally, that.
Look.
It was poetry in motion.
Look, the first game after they played, I think it was Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch that game, and I must admit, because I love the Lakers, and I've been crashing on them this year because of the way they've been playing. But I must admit, don't look at me like that, man.
I'm trying to figure out where you're going.
I must admit, I like the way they look with D'Angelo Russell in there. I like the way they look.
Almost definitely.
I mean, I think.
I mean, you got to think about it. D-Lo can shoot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I told you this. You was like, I don't see how last episode, I don't see how they help the Lakers get better.
I did see it. I still
I
don't.
Hey,
But I like the way they look after that. I like the way they look.
you need to go watch the last game then. I mean, from tip off, and D'Lo on it. You know what? LeBron played his fewest minutes ever, as in the season. He was chilling. You know, he got the foot problem. He was chilling on the bench, smiling. I ain't seen him like that all year.
Yeah. Yeah.
All year.
That's funny you say that because I remember like maybe 3 weeks ago when that Jugger was sitting on the sideline. When that Jugger was sitting on the sideline, he was like staring off his face like that. Why am I on this team? I felt so. That's the one time I felt sorry for LeBron, man.
Man, this is my thing, man.
He looked so damn sad.
Hey, did you see the video? I hope maybe our producer might be able to pull this video up. But of the video when they was in the locker room and Russell Westbrook was like, "Oh, just have fun." LeBron like, "No, we need to win." You know what I'm saying? Bro, just go out and have, whether we win, lose, or draw, have fun. LeBron like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, we get paid to win. Like, what? And from that moment on, I already knew what time it was, which I already knew anyway. But
I mean, you know, teams do a great job of keeping stuff behind closed doors, especially after that situation with Draymond Green and Jordan Poole. But, you know, according to Patrick Beverly, there's been some other things going on, not necessarily basketball-wise, but some other stuff going on.
I mean, that's with every LeBron team. I mean,
I think it's teams in general.
Well, you think about it, right? You know, every LeBron team before trade deadline, everybody's a go. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ready to trade everybody. When he was with the Cleveland Cavaliers, they traded nearly, when Dwayne Wade came out there, they traded nearly everybody, including Dwayne Wade. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's everybody a go. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know that coming in. Like, yeah, come on now. That's an automatic. You know what I mean? Like, and the thing about it, people talking about, well, LeBron's a nice guy, but nobody ever brings up when he starts to want to trade you. You know what I'm saying? It's over with. He's turned into Kobe. You know what I'm saying?
Get out of here.
Hey, Kobe mentality, like, hey, well, I can't. Hey, let me call the front office. Matter of fact, the front office is calling me right now.
Well, to answer your question, the earlier question, what was the biggest bust? I think in recent times, I think the biggest trade bust were the Brooklyn Nets.
I definitely disagree.
I mean, I just think all those players that they did to get Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin
now
Durant.
that half of it I agree, but
I think that was just that bad situation. And I don't know if it was a coaching issue. I don't know if it was a player issue. I don't know if it was a management issue.
It was both.
But it was all wrong. It was all wrong. I mean, but this is the thing. You would never know exactly what was going on because everybody says the politically correct thing because nobody wants to take the blame. Nobody wants to point blame. But obviously something didn't work in that system.
Yeah, both. It was both. You know, players didn't play to their caliber. The players had issues, and the front office had issues. That's literally what it was. And they couldn't come together to. But, you know, sometimes when you have great players, right? I'm gonna say that one more time. So sometimes when you have great players, you can overcome. No, I'm gonna say that one more time. Sometimes when you have great players, you can overcome situations with front office issues, coaching issues, player issues. That is what Brooklyn Nets was missing. Because KD, he's all time. You know, he's gonna be up there. He's Hall of Fame player. But that's the difference between him and LeBron. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring LeBron.
Well,
you know what I mean? I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
LeBron, get this man some tissue, man.
I'm just saying. I didn't.
He break you up every day.
Hey, I'm just saying. I didn't mean to bring him up. It was just you fed it to me, and I just had to just make sure.
Well, I just was good. It's just when you look at most superstar teams or that are big three, so to speak, all of them pretty much were successful to an extent. You know, even though the Lakers are not playing up to their potential, they won a championship in the bowl. I know that people gonna put an asterisk by it, but at the end of the day, they still won a championship. Boston with Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and those guys, they won a championship. San Antonio, they won a championship. When LeBron went to Miami, championship. When LeBron went back to Cleveland, championship.
So that one
Golden State, championship. I'm just making a point.
Okay.
So you look at all these teams that put all these great players together and won a championship. Brooklyn just didn't do that, and they had all the potential. I mean, they were on paper they were the scariest team in the league
Offensively.
However, once again, I don't think it had to be something past the players for them not to get along to the point of where they had to break up the team like that.
Well, one step, coaching. They fired one coach because he didn't get along.
Well, he shouldn't have been coached anyway, in my opinion.
Steve
Nash shouldn't have been coached anyway.
I feel like you passed a lot of candidates like Mark Jackson.
Absolutely.
But that's another conversation.
Absolutely.
But I do feel like that was one part, and then the front office was one part, and then I don't think the players really got along like we thought they got along. I think James Harden had his stuff going on. I think KD was just there to ball. That's one thing I will consistently say. That KD is just there to ball. He don't have all that other stuff going on. And then Kyrie, Kyrie. Kyrie's gonna be Kyrie. I mean, only thing I can say is he thinks the earth is flat. So Kyrie gonna be Kyrie. So, but goes back to what I just said. You gotta sometimes when you have a great player, you can pretty much you can contain it. I ain't gonna say he ain't gonna lash out sometimes, but you can more contain it. And it goes back to leadership.
I was just getting ready to ask that question. Do you think it's a leadership issue from the player standpoint, being that there's not a real core leader, or is that a leadership from the off? Okay,
both, because and I'm not just saying both as a cop out. I'm saying as in like when you go to Miami Heat, you brought the Miami Heat, right? They got front and leading everything.
Pat Riley.
Exactly. And no ifs and buts about it, right? And then he got his little miniature, Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra. and guess what? Guess what? He leading the team. You know what I'm saying? Like he leading the team. So, it ain't no different well, I'm just saying, it ain't no different in like who's gonna be running the show. Everything's concrete. They have a concrete foundation that they built, right? So it ain't no mess up nothing. Brooklyn, we don't know what they got. The only thing we know is they got a new arena the last couple of years ago, and I don't even know, it ain't even in Brooklyn. So so that's the only thing I could think of, and when something happens, when it's a lot of dysfunction, you know what I mean? Like it tears the whole organization apart because they don't have a foundation to stand on. So, and that's the key. So, like I've always said, you need that one guy. That greatness always is not something that you do on the court.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Greatness has, you have to be great in all qualities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And leadership was not that. It was no leadership there. It was nobody to be like the follow or, hey, to do this, to do that. And they was trying to go to uncharted territory. Yeah, Kyrie done been there, but he been there with somebody that had been there.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, we got a bunch of money. We got a new start. Let's just bring these guys in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I don't think they vetted them any kind of way. You know what I mean?
They gave them what they want. It was like parents giving a kid something and they ain't earn for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, KD, we all know KD didn't earn those rings when he used it. Yeah, he played. He lost to the team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He lost to the team.
But he still won though.
And
he got MVP.
Another conversation.
We can have that debate later on, but yeah.
I had flashbacks. I'm sorry.
Your guy got one out of them.
I have flashbacks. You good. I don't even want to.
Oh my goodness, this man right here.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Please, somebody come get this man a tissue.
Hey, I don't even want to talk about it.
But no, but outside of that, also too, I think the Philadelphia Eagles, the Philadelphia 76ers was kind of shaky too with the trades that they made prior to get rid of Ben Simmons. I think there's a lot of stuff that we won't hear behind closed doors that
Uh-huh.
play a factor. But the politically correct thing to do is just say what it is, as far as, oh, my mental health issues, or there's a the league is excuse me, or the team is trying to make a playoff push. Those are the politically correct things to say.
I think Doc Rivers is gonna be gone.
You think so?
I think he's on his last days with Philadelphia.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna tell you this. I think Doc Rivers.
And I love Doc Rivers.
Yeah, he's a great coach.
Yeah.
He'll turn the franchise around and win, but it seems like they underachieve. Like, they always have the potential, they always have the way they make the playoffs and even make it to the championship, but that's as far as it goes. Ever since that Boston win, that was pretty much it. You know what I mean? But every franchise he goes to, like from Orlando to Boston to Philly, where else? I think that was it. But anyway, their records improve.
Yeah,
Their players improve.
Yeah.
But
You just can't do the next step.
exactly. So, but that's what trades do as well.
Yeah.
You can start building a franchise and you start improving. Then okay, here comes a trade, and it changes the dynamic. So that plays a role into it too. But I really don't think you should penalize a coach for the general manager's decisions as well, though.
So you saying that the Brooklyn Nets, that was the worst trade?
I think I would put him up there. I would definitely put him up
Now, I'm gonna bring up something because I disagree. Because the Brooklyn Nets actually, if you look at it, they won the last game. They've been playing well. I think that was a cancer, and they just had to get rid of it, right?
there. Okay.
I think the Houston Rockets was the worst trades known to man.
From this year, or just in general?
This year. They traded for John Wall. He's not even playing. They buy him out. They traded for Danny Green. He got a torn ACL and LCL. He's only played like 20 to 30 some games, and he's not even gonna play the rest of the season. So they're gonna buy him out, and then they just got a second round draft pick and gave up Eric Gordon.
Well, yeah. Well, I think that, I mean, that's a bad trades, but I think that was more of a business decision because they're trying. I think they're finna go into rebuild mode.
You could rebuild without. Come on, huh? The guy just called you trash on a podcast, and you over here trading for him. Then you gonna buy him out. You know how much money they spending?
I agree with you. But I think
They
that's
spending over $50 million for buyouts.
well. That's you know what.
That's why I said that's the worst trade. That's the worst.
The
trade
franchises. I don't. Well, it was a bad trade. I give you that, but
Yeah,
I just think
terrible. Disgusting. They disgusting. I don't even watch the Houston Rockets. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I went when they had James Harden and CP3. I watched them then, but
yeah.
I am not gonna lie to you. This is a public service announcement. I see the Houston Rockets on TV. I turn it. When I see the Houston Rockets, I be like, "What's on Netflix? HBO." You know,
Yeah, man.
when I watch the Houston Rockets, I be like, I never watched the news before. Let's see what's on the news channel. You know what I'm saying? They disgust me. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I feel like I don't know what they're doing. But whoever, they need to hire the same person again and fire them both times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I don't see what they got going on.
Yeah, like I said, I really think it's just a business move, just to free up some space and to start the rebuilding process. Is what they're, I think they got a good young player, a good rookie, potentially can get the rookie of the year. I just don't know. Again, my problem, I said this before, is just when teams start rebuilding and they start getting some progress and they start getting known and recognition for improvement, it's always that guy. There's always that one or two players, like, I'm feeling myself. I'm in my contract year. I deserve more. You know what I mean? And now all of a sudden they want to leave, and then that disrupts the growth of a young team. And I don't know if Houston has that the foresight to make sure everything works out for them. I don't know.
Houston, what they need to do is put all these jerseys in the washing machine with white clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's how much they disgust me.
We gonna bleach our clothes.
Yes, like, that's how much they disgust me. 'Cause I never. Well, I ain't gonna say never because the Knicks has been in that conversation too. But the Houston Rockets are up there with. Cause I can't even say cause the Pelicans done improved. They got so like the Houston is pretty much on their own level of terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they on an island by themselves.
Yeah.
Like if it's 1 through 32, they 33. You know what I'm saying? Like
I know they bad.
yeah,
man.
yeah,
They're bad.
It's like the bad news bears over there.
Yeah, they're bad.
I don't figure out. I don't figure out what that was, but it's. I don't know what they got going on.
I know. I would put that trade up there as bad too, along with the one from Brooklyn.
But I see with the Brooklyn situation, like I feel like you can get people to Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. You could. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
you could have when Durant and them were there. Yeah.
No, I'm saying you still can because Brooklyn is Brooklyn.
Mm.
Houston Rockets. Let that ring in you.
I see what you're saying because they're it's a marketable city. Yeah,
Houston.
yeah.
Houston.
I mean, Houston was all right too.
Oh, Houston.
They ain't got state tax.
Oh, Houston.
I would go there because they ain't got no state tax.
You ain't going to Houston. Anyway, but my thing is like it's just I would say even Orlando Magic better than Houston. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, the Orlando Magic they're improving. They still terrible, but they're improving.
Yeah, but like it ain't the state of the Houston Rockets.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So we'll see what happens. We'll see kind of what goes from there. But I know we talked about last week on the front runners of the trades and who got the biggest trades, and we talked about the Suns and etc. But who are those on the latter portion that you're looking at? Like, okay, that was some impressive trades that was made. They're gonna really improve. I think they're gonna really do something either after All-Star break, or they're gonna, we're gonna see what they're made of, or might be in the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
So who do you think are those people that made trades, and who are those teams that you think that are buying for a playoff position that you think are really gonna make a push for it, and the trades actually help?
In all honesty,
I know it's a great question. I'm sorry.
It is a great question, but the only team that really might do something is the Lakers and the Clippers. I think Eric Gordon to the Clippers is a great addition, especially to that core with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I think what he brings to the table as far as the shooting, that's definitely going to spread the floor, which is going to allow Paul George to create and get into that hoop, and it's also allow Kawhi to do the same thing. I think that's probably one of the better trades, even though it was just Eric Gordon. But I think that's probably one of the better trades. I know we talked about the Lakers a lot, but I have to admit that put positions the Lakers in a better chance to get out of the 13th spot. I mean, they're only 3 games. If we be realistic, they're only 3 games out of 6th place. So that means that shows you how tight the West is.
Yeah.
Go on and win a little winning streak, and the next thing you know, boom, you're in the playoff run. So I think those two probably the most impressive. It's going to be as far as the that's going to help a franchise, but I don't see anybody else really.
Now the thing about it, I will point out too is that it wasn't really that much movement, as in like inside the conference that stayed in the conference. Like the East, it wasn't really that, like, you have KD, Kyrie that came to the West, but the West is like, mostly all the big name players are on the West.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the top 10 players in the league, you're looking at outside of Giannis, you're looking at least, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the other 9 are in the West.
I mean, West is tough. I mean, it's real tough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's real tough. I mean, we talk about the Lakers and all those guys all the time, but we still haven't talked that much about Denver because they still the number 1 team in the West. And we haven't talked about Memphis.
Maybe-
They still
maybe-
number 2 in the West.
Maybe because we don't trust those two teams. That's why. Memphis, ever since Ja said what he said, you know what I mean, they've been losing. So, you know what I mean, like that's, and then Denver Nuggets, they always get beat in the first or second round. So maybe because we don't have faith in them.
Yeah. But it's also, too, man.
You know what?
What's that?
I just thought about something.
What's that?
You talked about the Bills and you talking about Denver.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they have in common? They both lose in the playoffs.
Watch out, man.
But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I don't even know what I was saying. I don't even know what I was saying, man.
I'm just saying, both of them have it in common. You know what I mean? Like they can't make it far. You know what I mean? And I feel like this: the teams that are scary. While you getting your thoughts together, is the Dallas Mavs.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying.
They're scary, and the Lakers, if they catch fire, they're scary. The Clippers, I don't think they're gonna get it together.
I like what Dallas did with Kyrie, but I don't think they're gonna be as dangerous as everybody think.
I'm gonna tell you this right now.
I don't think they're gonna be dangerous as everybody.
If they catch fire, it's over with.
I just don't.
You got two players in the league that's probably the most dominant one-on-one players. Both of them can go for 40. That's already 80 points each.
I agree.
Between both of them.
I like it. I like it.
So
Visually, I see it. I like it.
the other three people that's playing on the court with them, because it's 5, right? You know what I'm saying? If they just get 15 points each, you know what I'm saying? That's all needed. You know what I mean?
Visually, I like it. Oh,
it's showtime. It's showtime.
But
like, I pay for a ticket to go watch them play.
I would too. I definitely would love to see Luka play, man. I think he definitely. And the scary thing about Luka, everybody, the man is not even in his prime yet. The man is still under 25 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Hold the mic a little tighter. Say it one time.
Luka Doncic is not even in his prime. He's still under 25. Just wait till he get to 26, 27, 28. He's going to be really something special.
Well, he already something special. You know what I'm saying?
He is. He's balling now.
Like he's and with the team that he's on, like it's crazy. But you know what's also crazy?
Mm-hmm.
The teams that are not like top 2 teams in the West, they don't really have pressure on them. You know what I'm saying? I joke about it, but we said they're not gonna get past the first and second round, and postseason. I don't think they really have pressure on them to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the other team, like the Suns, gonna have pressure.
They definitely have pressure.
The Clippers have pressure.
Definitely have pressure.
Lakers always have pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like, but those two teams, and maybe because of the players, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the players is the reason why they have pressure because Joker's he's a great individual, great scorer, rebounder, and can do all this, but we don't hold him to that same type of standard that we hold the KDs, the Kyrie Irvings, the LeBron, and stuff like that.
I think with Denver though, they have the potential to be the Milwaukee of the West. Just come out of nowhere and kind of. They had the potential to do that. I don't know if they will because, like you say, they do let you down when they get closer to the championship.
I think it's mentality.
Yeah, it's definitely part of that is mentality. But I think they if they can, like your words, get it together, I think they can sneak up in the West and take it if they get it together. They could do what Milwaukee did because nobody expected Milwaukee to win the championship that year.
First of all, I always say like repeat something. I don't never repeat that again. What you just said. hey, don't never repeat that again. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna tell you some real stuff. You know what I mean? Like the Suns, we all know is the favorite. But what I will say is, if the Clippers been laying low, they ain't really been talked about too much, and they still been hanging around, and the Warriors been laying low too. So I never count out Steph Curry and Clay and old Draymond Green, even though he can give you 0 points. He can give you 15 ticks. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what he can do. But, hey, y'all make sure y'all keep watching us.
Please do.
Move on to our next segment. Hey, like, follow, subscribe.
Share.
I mean, get you another plan with Verizon, AT&T, or whoever, and download it from there so you can watch it on both phones. You feel what I'm saying? But make sure y'all check us out. You know what I mean? Hey, we love y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Yo, it's the Man.
The Man
Sports Podcast, and you know how we do it. We coming again, man. You know what I'm saying? Coming through with it. And now I feel like we got a topic that we don't really talk about too much. But I think like we need to give them some love. So, Mr. Man, who would you say in the league right now is one of the most underrated NBA players?
Ooh, that's a good question, my guy.
Well, I've been coming with it.
Yeah, that's a good question. I
don't
mean,
know.
there's quite a few in my opinion. I don't know. I can't say who's the most underrated, but there's quite a few. The first one I think might be underrated. I think he's acknowledged. I think he's good, but I don't think he gets the love that he deserves. And I'm gonna say Donovan Mitchell at Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. And I didn't realize he was that good when he first came into the league. I know he was in that dunk contest. That's what I known him for. But then when I actually started watching the Utah games, I was like, this dude pretty tough. And now he's going to Cleveland, and Cleveland's pretty tough in the East right now.
The Spider.
Yeah, so I think Donovan Mitchell is one of those guys, who's pretty good, but I don't think he gets as much love as he deserves because he's definitely balling.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say he's underrated though.
Yeah,
Because I feel like everybody do respect him. It's kind of like Damian Lillard, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody gonna say he underrated. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna be like, okay, all right, he ball. So I do think Donovan Mitchell, he do ball.
Yeah, he definitely ball.
I mean, he just threw was it a 70 piece?
He threw a 70-piece. Was it this year?
Yeah,
I guess it was.
A 70 piece with a sour cream nugget on the side. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, I wouldn't say. Now, you are right about the point that he was. We didn't know him for dunking. That's why he got a name, Spider, right? But as an underrated, I wouldn't say he's too. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know who he is.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Now, I will say I slept on him as being a great shooter.
Oh yeah, he better shooter. Yeah.
Yeah, he's way better than what he better than Russell Westbrook.
Yeah,
but you know what I'm saying? That's another.
You think Devin Booker's underrated?
Nah.
No, you don't think so?
Nah. I just think he's in Phoenix.
No.
So they don't get that much. They don't get that much play. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I really, nah, most definitely not. Nah.
What about my guy from I can't even think of his name now. He was just on the tip of my tongue. Hold on a second. Give me a minute. Talk about something real quick. I can't even think of it right now.
Well, my thing is this, right?
Oh,
I'm
sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards from Minnesota.
I think he does what he do. I mean, the guy, I think he got to get a better eating plan, a better healthy diet, because he eat like hot Cheetos before the game.
I mean, that's what kids do, man.
You know what I'm saying? so I mean, I feel like he need a healthier diet plan. You feel what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna say he underrated too. He ball, but
He definitely ball. That boy definitely can hoop.
I ain't gonna say he underrated though.
He definitely can hoop.
Because he really just dunked. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I seen him dunk on people. That's pretty much it. I wouldn't say he's underrated. Now, I would say somebody like De'Aaron Fox.
Oh, yeah, he's underrated, yeah.
From Sacramento. You see what Sacramento is at. You know what I'm saying? They're not in the playoff hunt. They in the playoffs if the season was to start today.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So, my thing is, they balling. So, now that is somebody that I started paying close attention to. Especially during the season portion. Now, playoffs a whole different atmosphere, but the season portion, that's somebody I've actually played closer attention to. Let's see. I
think what's the name from the not Dean, but Damian Lillard's backcourt mate, Anthony Simmons. I think he's on there. I think he's a better baller than people give him credit for.
I didn't even know who that was when you said that. Until you said that, I was still thinking about C.J. McCollum for a minute. Until you said it. Honestly. And you know, folks, I like to keep it honest. You know what I'm saying? I keep it 100. You know what I mean? I forgot who he played with. You know what I mean? Because when you think about Portland, you think about just him. Question. Since we're talking about Portland and Anthony Simmons, would you say he's underrated? Or would you say they suck, so we don't notice them, but Damian Leonard? Because Damian Leonard shoots up 40-foot shots. You feel what I'm saying? So we don't really notice them.
Well, it could be a combination of both. You know what I mean? Of course, obviously, the way the league is set up and the TV ratings and all that stuff, we're obviously going to get the better teams on TV more often.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
But I think Portland fans and, you know, people and people that's more enthusiastic than basketball than me will definitely understand that Anthony Simmons is probably one of the underrated players in the league.
Because now, if you think about it now, I'm gonna break it down even further for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so underrated players in the league. I look at my credentials. I look at where is their team at, as in positioning. Was it expected? Was it unexpected? How are they improving their team? So these are like the characteristics and qualities that I'm looking for in an underrated player. Like, because just like we talked about, Russell Westbrook can go to the disgusting Houston Rockets and he can go off for 40 and stuff, but we can't say underrated. We're just gonna say he just get a lot of touches. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, my prime example, like De'Aaron Fox, you know, Sacramento, like, look at their position the whole season. You know what I'm saying? They've been not even really been in the hunt. They've been kind of there. You know what I'm saying, for the full amount of season, and he's been balling.
Well, you know, players like De'Aaron Fox, they do what they do well, and they're consistent at what they do well. And it's not necessarily that they'll give you a highlight or you know, a 50-point game here and there. It's just like they're consistently doing what they do well all the time. And I think that is a component of underrated as well.
Now I do think in the beginning of the season, I would have probably brought up like maybe Lonzo, Zach LaVine, you know, with the Bulls, but they kind of plateaued a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they should be a lot better than they are too.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there, but I would look at them, but like they just kind of, it seems like they was ready for the NBA season, but when the NBA season get here, you know how grueling and how long it's 82-game season. So it seems like it's starting to get to them a little bit, and now it's like, okay, you know, it get harder as the season continues.
Yeah,
you know, the first weeks or so, you know what I mean, people just out there playing pickup ball. But you know, when it get close to All-Star break and then after All-Star break, it gets very competitive.
Well, I mean, that's a bit of a fact because people don't remember at the beginning of the season, Portland was the number one seed in the West after like 5, 6, 7 games.
Yeah.
But now they're not.
That's misconstrued. Come on.
That's what I'm saying, but that's to your point.
Yeah.
To your point. So you just never know what happens down the line.
I thought Middleton would have a breakout year, but he's been off and on hurt. You know what I mean? So I really can't say him.
Well, you know, even I'm gonna tell you, even with him being, even if he was healthy, I think you got the max from Middleton. I think that's what you're not gonna get any improvement. I think he reached his max.
I think he could go another level.
I don't know.
I mean, to be honest, I think the team goes as he go. People talking about Giannis, but to be honest, when they was, you know, in the playoffs, who was really with the bag?
I don't
Who
know.
was really control? Now think about it. If you go, I want you to do some research. I want you to go back. I want you to go back. I want you to go back and look and look at those games that they had in the playoff when they playoff run, and who was really handling the ball, and who was really scoring most of their points. Because you think about it, what teams was doing was, you like to say this all the time, they was loading up the paint. You know what I'm saying? So he couldn't drive how he was supposed to, and you all know Giannis ain't really got a shot. So who had to do everything for the most part?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but that particular time.
Uh-huh.
But I think that's the max you're gonna get though. I don't think you're gonna get anything else past that. I don't think you're gonna get like an improved jumper. I don't think you'll get I don't think you'll get
Well,
anything
I
else
mean, he's
added to
pretty
the.
sweet though.
Well, what I'm saying, I don't think you get an improved bag. What I'm saying,
Okay.
I think that's his bag is he's reached his maximum weapons in his bag. He don't have anything else in his bag. But I think he can improve in being consistent.
Uh-huh.
But as far as adding something to his game or doing something better, being more facilitator, I think you got what you get from him.
I think Julius Randle.
Now he has potential.
Nah, I think he's underrated.
Yeah, I think he's underrated. I think with Julius Randle, I think his shot selection is kind of bad sometimes.
Well, I think to be honest, with the team that he's on, I think that was gonna be. You know what I mean? Like, you got to think about it. He on the Knicks. So, I mean, the Knicks ain't, you know what I mean? So, he going to have some type of bad, what I would say, bad shot selection because of who he playing with. So, he's got that. He got the green light, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't think, to be honest, I wouldn't hold that against him. You know what I mean? And that's my thing.
I don't know, man. He's good. I mean, he was good when he was at the Lakers. You know what I mean? I think he was improving when he was with the Lakers, and then, when I think he went to the Pelicans after they traded him and whatnot. And I think his ceiling wasn't reached yet because of the simple fact of, you trade him, now you got to start a new offense, all this new rotations and all this kind of stuff. But I think he found a home in New York. I think he has
I think they like him.
Oh yeah, I think they love him in New York. I think because he's a horse now. He'll work. He'll grind.
And they number 6 in the East.
Yeah. So I just think if he can find better shot selections and be more consistent with it with the shots that he do get, then yeah, I think he can definitely reach another plateau. Absolutely.
And you know who else I think is underrated? Jaylen Brown.
Oh yeah. Jaylen Brown is that guy.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown is that guy.
Because everybody talks about Jason Tatum.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown is that guy.
But if you really look at the games, when Jason Tatum, like, before he gets going, Jaylen Brown is already going.
Yeah,
and
yes.
if Jason Tatum is off, you look at how many points Jaylen Brown scores.
Absolutely.
He either scores more or right there with Jason Tatum.
Yeah, I like Jaylen Brown. I think, in my opinion, I think he go harder than Jason Tatum. And I mean, Jason Tatum is good, but I really think he go harder, in my opinion.
Because a lot of people been waiting on Jason Tatum to kind of take over.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't happening. Like, I mean, he has the ability to.
He has the ability to.
But it ain't happening. Not on a consistent basis. Like, it'll be like 1 out of 23 games he can take over. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't something that it needs to be on a consistent basis because he had the ability to. Now, this guy I'm going to name next.
Mm-hmm.
I just like his attitude. You know what I'm saying? I really do. It's like, hey, me and my team, we gonna come in there. I don't care if we dead last, but we gonna beat y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care where we are. I'm gonna give it my all, and you gonna feel us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's Jimmy Butler.
Oh yeah.
Jimmy Butler
yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
He get pushed to the side, and you know what I'm saying, like all that type
yeah.
of situation. But that guy,
Yeah.
that's still riding a minivan. You know what I'm saying? That guy that put weave in his head. You know what I'm saying? That guy. You know what I mean? Like that guy right there. I'm telling you right now, he's a baller.
Oh boy,
He's
his
a
hair
baller.
came out of nowhere. That hair came out of
I was
nowhere.
like, did you get that from Mulan?
That hair came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
bro.
I didn't know. I didn't.
Peanut butter solution.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like let your soul glow type of ordeal or what was going on. But my thing is this though. That guy, he's gonna fight for his teammates, whether his teammates come from the G League or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the type of guy he is.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he's one of the most underrated and forgotten players in the league.
Oh yeah, I agree with Jimmy Buckets definitely.
Like, and to be honest, I do feel like he's in the right system. I just feel like the pieces ain't there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But he's gonna fight. He's gonna give you everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my players that I feel like are the most underrated in the league right now.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like we're gonna hear something from him.
Yeah, I think I agree with those. I mean, those guys are definitely contributors to the team, and they also have a ceiling that I don't think they reached yet. But once again, it's just going to depend on, God forbid, injuries. If they continue to improve, because there's a lot of guys that have potential, but they feel like they made it, or they feel like they done enough, or they feel like they're contributing, and then it just ends. Like we had. Andrew Bynum was one of them. I don't think Andrew Bynum reached his potential.
Greg Oden.
Greg Oden, but a little bit of that was his injuries.
Yeah.
Kwame Brown definitely didn't reach his potential.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of guys over history that when you look at the league, that when you play the game as far as X's and O's, that's one thing, but to actually bring something to the table outside like hustle, effort.
You know what's crazy?
You know what I'm saying?
Since you bring that up,
Mm-hmm.
I love that you brought that up. So who would you say all time? Who was your top hustlers and effort guys all time?
Ooh, man. I gotta go with D-Rod, Dennis Rodman.
Uh-huh.
He was definitely one of those guys. Man, that's hard to say. D-Rod.
I got one,
Who's that?
and I he was crazy. And I loved every bit of. I mean, I know D-Rod crazy too,
Yeah.
on another level, but Ron Artest.
Oh yeah, Ron Artest. He had a little, yeah.
Yeah, Ron Artest will give you a bowl in a minute and go. Hey, he'd go sit in the stands, drink a beer, popcorn, and then beat you up.
But those are the intangible things. It's one thing to have the X's and O's and skills, but like the actual
hustle
part of it, that's just a totally different thing. And it's the way the league is set up right now, where it's so offense oriented that you really don't see those guys like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, but out the Pelicans.
Who's that?
The point guard. The one that be like hiding in.
Oh yeah.
I forgot his name.
But those kind of players are. There's some out there, but you just don't really see it all the time. You know what I mean? It's just.
Jose Alvarado or something. I don't know.
I'm butchering the man's name.
Yeah, I ain't gonna try to butcher his name.
So,
now I got the first name right.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's hiding on the sideline.
Yeah.
Like that, so
the other guys like that's kind of like that now. Tucker. Tucker that won the championship with Milwaukee.
See with him, yeah, he's a defensive guy,
Yeah.
right? Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But he's known as the sneaker king, right? That's what he's known for. He's known for wearing rare sneakers to the game and playing in them. But over the years, I think it's about time for him to go.
I'm just saying he's that guy that plays his part.
Like effort, yeah.
Effort.
His shot is not that great.
Yeah, not that great.
Yeah. It's more just defense.
Yeah, more just defense.
Yeah,
but he's gonna get in there and grind and do the little odds and
he was
ends
with the
of-
Rockets too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was with the Rockets too.
Yeah.
Well, definitely was.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. But we will definitely see what happens next with these kind of guys. I don't know what.
Well, they get 9 days off after that.
Oh boy, I cannot wait for All-Star Weekend. Boy,
They get 9 days off after that. You know what I mean, including the All-Star Weekend.
I cannot wait.
So it's really about to get revved up
Mm-hmm.
because this race is about to start. We about to start seeing who is the real deal.
Yeah, we got like 30-some games left.
Yep.
Everybody's gonna be making that push.
Everybody at least got to win 20 games out of that.
Yeah.
Like it ain't like you got like somebody that's like, okay, all right, they can just pretty much coast the rest. No.
Yeah.
Everybody got to at least win about 16 to 20 games to make it in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, a losing streak can put you out of the playoff race real quick.
Yeah,
so, some a win streak together, you might be able to move up to a 5th or 6th seed if you're the Lakers.
Uh-huh.
But you don't necessarily want to be in that play-in tournament.
Well, they're gonna be in the play-in tournament.
Well, I'm just saying because the play-in tournament. Not only do you have to play in the play-in tournament, then
You gotta play playoffs.
you gotta play playoffs. So you're just gonna have a lot more strings on your body, a lot more games on your legs, and it's just gonna be like, okay, can you survive the play-in tournament and then the playoffs to make it to the championship? So I think that's gonna be tough.
I think if any team, if you stay healthy, get right enough rest, I don't think it'd be a problem.
This definitely not a clear front runner. That's what I like about this season and last season.
Well, it is now.
With Phoenix?
Yeah.
You think they're a clear front runner?
Yeah, clear.
Oh, they definitely
Like
to
clear
the forefront, but I just
clear as in like water.
I don't know.
I'm just waiting.
We haven't seen them play it yet.
I'm just waiting on KD. Once he come back from injury, and that's one of my cues, as in like one of the things that I'm looking at. If he get injured, the Suns are gonna be in a very, very their position is gonna be very sticky.
Yeah,
because they gave away, pretty much all their plan Bs and backups and stuff like that. So, you gave the Brooklyn Nets all that for KD. So now it's like, they trying to make plays to have people as backups. But,
like you mentioned earlier, the pressure is definitely on them now because everybody's expectation is for them to win because of KD. Like you said, like we talked about last time, they didn't give up Ayton. They didn't give up Booker. They didn't give up Chris Paul.
Which is, I don't know how they pulled that off.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then with not giving them up, they added KD. Yeah, the pressure is definitely on them. Is yet to be seen.
But you know what's crazy, though? The pressure is on them. And it's crazy because the pressure is on people that we're not worried about physically, we worry about mentally. And pressure will get to you mentally before it does physically. So that's something that I'm looking at too. Because you all got people that mentally can be, what's the word I'm looking for? Seduced mentally. Not really seduced, but you know what I'm saying? Just it's just one of those things that you can.
It can take a toll on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, and that's what I keep preaching about how they're going to gel because any change in the chemistry of a team can change the whole dynamic of what happens in the future. You know what I'm saying? We all seen what happened with Philly. They were supposed to be the team to come out of the East, but Ben Simmons had an issue, and then all of a sudden.
Do you think? I mean, I'm getting off subject, but do you think Ben Simmons gonna be in the league in 2 years?
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough.
I think he's kind of.
Well,
I keep saying this. He might go to the Rockets, but
I mean, the problem is and this is with anything with sports, people in life in general. Anytime you start doing something that's publicized on a regular basis that everybody sees, you get a reputation for it. And sometimes when the reputation is not good, especially about the publicity that you bring to the team, how you disrupt the team, you can kind of ostracize yourself from teams wanting to sign you. You know what I'm saying? So that could be one of those issues down the line. So that's a good question. I mean, but will somebody take a chance on him because of what he can do on the court, though?
Yeah, I mean, he's when he's playing the game right, he's a great ball handler, great defensive guy. He
Just
can
can't
attack.
shoot.
He can attack the basket. But you know what? That reminds me of Russell Westbrook. But that's it. That's it. That's another topic for another day. But hey,
So they got something in common.
yeah, they got something coming. But hey, make sure y'all watch us. Make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all follow.
We appreciate y'all, man.
Make sure y'all subscribe.
We love y'all, man.
Hey, make sure you know what I mean. Comment. You know what I'm saying?
Please continue supporting us.
Hey, we wanna make sure y'all comment because the reason why we got y'all commenting, we're gonna do a live, right? So we want to make sure that
It'll be
you
a
know what I'm
special
saying.
day.
Hey, it's gonna be a special day, and we're gonna interact with y'all, see what y'all think. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And kind of go from there, and interact with y'all. You know what I mean? Because we really, really love our fans. Hey, we love that y'all watch the show. You know what I mean? So y'all just make sure y'all support.
We appreciate
appreciate it, and we out.
Man to man.